The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hi, Keith.
Good morning, Jill.
How's your voice doing?
Much better.
You sound much better.
Thank you. Yeah, I actually it's just a hot and cold and the allergies, it's crazy, but antibiotics kicked in and so I have my voice back. Feeling really good.
Yeah, well, you definitely sound better than you did last week.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. We'll see how
And
long we can get through it.
before we kick off real quick, George and Son's food was kind of marginal last time
Yeah.
when I did the takeout, so let's pick someplace else
Yeah,
next
for
time.
sure. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
All right, here we go.
Yeah. All right, good morning everybody. Good morning. Welcome to another Thursday social media webinar. I'm your host, Keith Flynn, Director of Digital Marketing here at West USA Realty. Really excited to have you guys here with me this morning. I always try to drop that little song in there. It's got a good beat. And if you guys could see me on camera, waving side to side, getting excited and jammed up for today, excited for today. As you can see, we're going to be going through Google My Business, creating a business listing for your business as a real estate agent. If you have any of the side endeavors, you guys definitely need to take advantage of creating a Google My Business listing. If you don't already have one, we're going to walk through creating one, which is super easy. This should be a short one for us today, guys. It's not super complicated. Thankfully, Google My Business, Google in general has a lot of offerings that allow small business owners, large business owners to create a lot of cool things when it comes to having a digital presence. Google obviously having the largest market share when it comes to searches. Certainly advantageous for you guys to have a listing. And when we use the word listing, the context for listing today is not a home, but your business on Google My Business. So with that, let's get rocking and rolling like we always do. We have some awesome sponsors with us here at West USA. All of our agents, even if you're not with West USA, you guys understand as being a real estate agent the importance of having an awesome support team around you, and that's not just people in your brokerage, but also your vendors, whether they are title, loan, contractors, home warranties, whatever the case may be. And one of our awesome sponsors is Bree with the Robert Coomer Group. I always say, is it Coomer Comer? I keep messing this up, Bree, and I
Boomer.
apologize. Coomer. 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 Okay. Coomer, chameleon. All right, that was terrible. How are you doing today, Bree?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I feel good. I have a great voice. I feel like I'm projecting. So, it's awesome.
So it's a good day.
Yeah, it is. Absolutely. Excited to have you guys on for sure and all of our listeners. Of course, what's happening in your world? How are things going with the growth?
So it's going really good. I yesterday I actually met with our our VA specialist. So it's
Nice.
with Veterans Mortgage Source, and went over a bunch of new stuff that just kind of like processes that we're putting in place to make sure that VA loans are kind of streamlined. I know that's something that it's one of those things that a lot of people don't deal with all the time, so they're kind of scared of.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and to me, working with veterans is like a huge passion of mine. I think that it's something that, I definitely value
Yeah.
everything that they've sacrificed. So we want to give back to them. And so if anybody has any questions, if there's anything that, if you just aren't familiar with doing VA loans, if you're anything like that, give us a call and we can kind of go over it. Because when I was looking through all of this stuff, I was like, wow, okay, yeah, it really is not that bad. So, okay, definitely, like, this is awesome. This is good information. So if anybody's interested in kind of going over some of that, let me know. Because I know, we have a lot of veterans here in the Valley. And so if that's, one of your clientele, let me know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's, an awesome opportunity for our veterans. They have access to some awesome rates and abilities to get loans for their homes. And I know my brother-in-law is a veteran, and they got a great rate on a pool. So they wanted to add a pool to the home,
Mm-hmm.
refinance, took out a little bit, and of course I'm like, wow, that's awesome. But you know what, well deserved. And so it's awesome that that you guys, obviously, Robert Krumer, are supporting that for sure.
Yeah, I love it. I think that it's great to really, like, we have a whole division that's just specifically geared towards it, and that makes my heart like so happy. So
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah, of course, anyone is a veteran or someone who is, point them to Bree. She'll obviously be able to help you guys out. Her email address there is just below her headshot, and her phone number as well. Reach out. I know Bree's been an awesome supporting vendor of ours here at West USA, and so we look forward to you guys providing a resource, or you providing a resource for the agents, Bree. Thank you so much.
absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too. We'll see you soon. All right, and next, we have Jill St. Croix from Great American Title, who you may have just heard me chatting with before the show started. Jill and I are due for lunch, so we were trying to narrow down our options since unfortunately, small business owners are, approaching COVID a little bit different than everybody else. Some are closed, some have takeout only, and so we've learned that one of our favorite places is doing takeout only right now with a limited menu. How are you, Bree? Or I'm sorry, how are you, Jill?
I'm great, and I don't think we want to sit in the parking lot and tailgate right now.
Yeah, definitely. We have done that. I have done that at In-N-Out Burger, just because it's so packed and the lobby's closed. But yeah, Chinese food's different than hamburgers, right?
A little harder to eat, right?
Yeah. So what's
So
happening in your world?
I'm glad to hear your voices back.
Thank you.
And what's happening in my world is amazing. There's just so much going on right now. And I guess the biggest thing is every agent I'm working with has a different need, a different idea, a different goal. And that is how it should be, because everybody's business model is different. So I'm having a lot of fun developing some new strategies and working with some new ideas with them. And we're coming up with some really fun things. So if you have something that's lingering around in your mind that you think you'd like to try, I'm game.
Yeah.
Let's put it on paper. Let's see what it looks like. Let's see how it rolls out for marketing. And it might be that golden ticket that you've been waiting for and just haven't had the courage or confidence to say, I think I want to try it. So let's try it.
Yeah, absolutely. I know you guys do a great job of helping agents out with content creation, and so if there's,
Absolutely.
as I know specifically for today for Google My Business, we're going to be talking about reviews, since reviews are a huge element to our business. If you're not asking reviews, you're definitely missing the boat. But repurposing your reviews as posts for social media, I'm sure that Great American Title has some ideas around that can help you out with.
We do, and actually I just did one.
Nice.
A gentleman had all these wonderful testimonials he was showing to me that he takes on his listing appointments, and I asked him why we didn't take snippets and make it into a post, and we did.
Exactly. That's awesome. And that, because I get that question all the time, is like, all right, hey, where do I go? Where do I send my clients for reviews? And, and obviously there's, ask anybody, they'll get a different answer. But, my personal belief is Google, and from there, you don't want to ask your clients to go do reviews everywhere, but you can repurpose those and create great content for your social media and do a little humble brag and, another satisfied customer.
Yeah, nothing brags on you better than your customers, right?
Exactly. Let them do the work for you, peer to peer.
Right.
So much of what
And
go ahead.
we can help you develop a little easy form that you can give them too, that, if you love my service, please complete this review form. And then
Right.
they'll have something to work off of, so it's not so daunting for them to write a 5 or 6 sentence review for you.
Exactly. Yeah, and they should be throughout the whole process, because I have clients ask me, when agents are asking me, when should I ask for the review? Prime it with the beginning, like, hey, look, at the end of this contract, or when we get done with this whole process, love for a great review. I've got a place I'll send you, and then remind them again midway through, and then make sure you hit them at the end, and again 30 days after if they haven't done one.
Right.
So
yeah, and Bree and I did have coffee recently, and the culture that they're rolling out here is amazing. So hook up with Bree too, and find out more about her company.
yeah, awesome. Jill, thank you so much. And I will I'll respond to your email shortly here. We'll figure out where we're going to eat next.
Thanks, Keith. I'll talk to you later.
Okay, have a great day.
Bye.
All right, so let's get rocking and rolling. I'm going to jump through. What do I normally do? I usually do a spiel. I have a whole thing. Oh yeah, if you have any questions, which it looks like somebody already did, let me jump in here real quick. Look, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, in the box to the right there, you should see a chat box, a question box. Hop in there. Michelle's already got one for us. She's already getting us off rock and rolling today. Should we still only be seeing the sponsor screen? Yes, which I just now changed, and the webinar actually has started. Correct. So we're good. So if you're seeing now advantages of a listing, you are in the right place. Of course, this is recorded, so if you do miss any of our broadcasts and you jump off, take a phone call, can't get through less than an hour here if we get rock and rolling. These are recorded. So we do have all of our webinars, my past webinars, all of our webinars here at West USA, a wide range of topics live on our YouTube channel. If you just visit YouTube and do a simple search for West USA Realty, you will find all of our past webinars, including mine. Everything from, of course, this digital Google My Business, Canva, Facebook, basics, Instagram basics, you name it. There's just a lot of topics out there that you as agents have to focus on. Amazingly, not only do you have to be an agent, but you also have to be a marketer. So if you don't know how to market yourself, you don't know how to get yourself out there in the world, then really all that hard work you've put into testing and paying for licensing and association dues and everything else is for nothing. So that's why we're here today for Google, because as you guys know, the number one the search engine with the most market share is Google. They've literally turned their name into a verb. So you're looking and Google this, Google that, and so certainly advantageous for you guys to be here today. And I hope we provide you guys some cool information on how we can get it listed. So going through the advantages of being an agent for you guys as an agent in general, as a small business owner. You're going to take advantage of Google My Business, the reviews, creating a listing. That way, anytime somebody performs a search for you, you're going to show up in a search result. And so when someone's searching for real estate business, your name, your brokerage, any number of those combinations, your information is going to pop up. And that's going to be great because you got your hours of operation, your location, which is great. There's been a change in the last year. There's been a change. I know a lot of agents want to claim the location of their branch. And now you've got, 100, 200, 500 agents that, all are living out of that branch. If you don't physically have an office out of the branch, you now can just choose a service area, which we'll get to. Wanted to hit you guys with that exciting news up at the beginning. No need to verify a location that you physically aren't even in anymore. You can choose a service location. Let your house be your home office. You can check mark on do not show, so that way you don't have anybody rolling up to your house in the middle of the night wanting to see a home. And for some of you go-getters, I'm sure that wouldn't be an issue, but we don't want anybody just showing up. Benefits of Google search, your maps. So obviously showing up on a local map search, as real estate agents, you're hyper-focused, hyper-niched in your local community. So, you don't need to be showing up a search result in other states. You really want to focus on a specific neighborhood and a city. And so using Google Maps and showing up on the maps will help out a lot. Simple SEO benefits. Google My Business, while it's not a replacement for SEO, search engine optimization, if you have a website, those coupled together, those backlinks will actually help you with your SEO. And if a new customer wants to find your business, they'll be able to find your website, your social media links, and everything else, and really learn more about you and vetting you out as a potential agent for them in their business. Reviews, big part of it, which we'll cover. Reviews will help you stand out. Optimizing your Google My Business listing is a big component. When I say optimizing, we're going to talk about adding content to your business listing. It used to be you'd create your listing and then you claimed it, and then if you're a restaurant or a nightlife bar, whatever, amusement park, your customers are creating your content by taking photos and then sharing those when they check in or they do a review. So since you don't have a physical location as a business owner and having a Google My Business account, Google wants to reward you now with actually optimizing your page, and you should be going on there and posting some highlight photos, videos that showcase what you do. And when you do, that's considered optimizing your listing. And business owners who are actively engaged with pushing out some content. Now, I'm not talking about like every single day, like Facebook and Instagram, but at least once a month, jump in there, refresh, add a new photo, action shot, branding photo, whatever the case may be. Maybe a home you just recently gave a tour or sold. Those are going to help you guys out. And of course, when you do that, that's showing social proof. That's showing that you are actually an agent, you are acknowledged, and this is what you're doing, and showcasing your skill set. Your review rating will then reflect that, because you're going to be asking for reviews and sending people to your listing and ask for reviews. If you asked me, I think we should all be sending all of our reviews to Google. Now, of course, if you're paying for Realtor.com or Zillow Premier, you're spending a little money on their pro plans or their Premier listing agent plans, you'll want to have the reviews there as well. But I'll show you how you can repurpose, as Jill and I were talking at the top of our webinar. Last, Google My Business Analytics advantage for a listing. Google My Business has a great amount of analytics, and you can see where people are performing searches, what searches they're performing, what keywords they're using when you are showing up in those search results. And then Google sends you an email at the end of each month to kind of show you an idea of what people are looking for and how you're showing up. The report will tell you a lot about the people who visited the site as well, or your listing in general, really, and then how many found your business through Google. And if they're clicking on a call, or if they are messaging you, and then looking at your contact. So your contact information, which is really great. All right, let's jump to the next slide here. So getting started with Google My Business, if you haven't already done so, I'm going to go through the slides, the step-by-step process, kind of fill in some of the blanks for you guys. I'll hop over into a live environment and go to our Google My Business listing itself and show you how it's created and just navigate through the use of it. But getting started is really easy. If you go to business.google.com/create, your first thing they're going to ask you to do is search for your business. They do that for everybody. They want you to search for your business. And so best practice is your first and last name dash and then your brokerage, or hyphen and then your brokerage. So Keith Flynn dash West USA Realty, or wherever you're at. It's going to probably tell you that it doesn't exist. And so what's nice is once it does, then you can go ahead and create that from scratch. Now, if you already have a listing or you've already created one, sit tight with me here. We'll get into that in a minute. We'll talk about some of the things. I'm sure if you already have one created, many of you may have a situation where you haven't verified it yet. You may have some questions about getting it verified. There's a couple of easy processes for you there in order to do so, whether through a postcard or a phone number. But you'll have the option to create your business listing, and if your business pops up, great. If not, then chances are you're going to have to create it yourself and then claim it. If you're searching for a business but you didn't find the results, then obviously you're going to move forward and be able to do that. Now, choosing your primary category is important. Google's going to ask you to choose the category where your business falls under, and so choosing that, simply start to type the word real estate, and you'll see that Facebook has a ton of options when it comes to an appropriate category. For you guys as real estate agents, keeping it simple, you're an agent. That first and foremost, choosing that category will put you into the proper category place for when people are performing searches. All right, let's see. All right, here we go. Sorry, I was just having a little bit of a delay there. Okay, cool. So creating an account, you probably see this. What's your business name? As I mentioned, first and last name, and then your hyphen or dash, your brokerage. And then the important next question for you guys is, do you want to add a location that customers can visit? It used to be not even an issue. You actually had to give a physical address. But now we know that there's a lot of companies out there that are service providers that don't have a physical brick and mortar location that a customer would roll into. Like I'm not going to go to a Roto Rooter and walk in and be like, hey, I need some plumbing fix, right? It's just not the way their business model is set up. So there's my voice starting to give out. We're barely a half hour into this. So you have an option to choose no. This location will not show up as a business map, and customers cannot actually physically go to your location, which is great. You don't want that anyways. Now, you can obviously put your branch information into the description of your Google My Business listing when we get to that part. But for choosing a service area, the next question they're going to ask you is, where do you serve your customer? Now, this is a lot like Zillow, a realtor, where you're cranking in your zip codes or the city. So it is a little tedious, but you can list your service areas and below and show up on the search results. So you would take some time and go through and Phoenix, Glendale, Scottsdale, or 85085, 85023, whatever is going to be relevant to where you are and you're focusing as an agent. Of course, then the next one is going to be please enter your mailing address to get verified. Now, just know that this address is hidden from the public, so not anyone going to show up. This is just for you and for Google, and a place for them to send your verification card. All right. So once we get into the dashboard, once your Google My Business listing is created, not a lot of questions. So that's what's really nice. And again, Google likes to keep things very minimalistic and intuitive. Obviously, there's not a lot of colors here. There's not a lot of blinking stuff. There's no advertisement. They like to keep things very simple and very user-friendly. Since a lot of us are first-time users when it comes to technology, this is an awesome platform and certainly appreciated, especially when teaching the class. Once you get into your navigation, and I'll go through this here for you in a live environment, you'll see that there's a navigation on the left-hand side that breaks down pretty much all the value propositions that I've pointed out so far. Verifying, once you've completed filling in all that contact information, you'll verify your account, you'll click on verification, and they'll send you a postcard. You'll see as you start to complete your listing over there on the right-hand side, they'll tell you the percentage of which you've completed the profile, adding your hours, adding a description, which you certainly should do. And as a real estate agent, well, you want to make sure that you're creating, so you're using buzzwords like, real estate agent for Scottsdale, North Phoenix, if you're doing real flipping homes, probate, investment, any of those buzzwords that are going to be important for when people create a search for you or are searching for you as an agent. If you're adding your description there, it'll show up, which is awesome, and people will be able to find you, and you'll be relevant to their search. Customers search a lot of reviews, and they trust those reviews. Studies have shown that 92% of customers read those reviews before they even consider reaching out to a customer. And so, as you go through the dashboard, there's a section for reviews as well. And then where do you send your clients when they're ready for review or when you're asking? So something that Google My Business added to their offering is posting. Now, posts, whether an update to your business or adding an event, if you guys can think of an event that you would add, I highly recommend using that event tab to create an open house, whether virtual or in person. Obviously, you don't have any offers per se. You're not doing like 20% off, or bounce back rebate or anything like that. But you can add in updates about what's happening with your business. Maybe there's a special event coming up, or there's going to be some changes to interest rates or things that are going to affect the buyer and seller. You can add those as updates, again, to show your expertise in creating content around what you do. Now, unlike traditional social media, these posts disappear after 7 days. So it's good for you to go on there and add these updates. They'll archive, but they're not going to show up in a search result moving forward after that. So how to post to the business manager, we'll log into business manager. We'll go to the posts and we'll show you how to create one. And then you'll obviously select, you can add a link in. So if you've got an MLS listing or you want to take them to your social media, what's really neat is you can add a call to action and then drop in a destination for a URL. Insights, as I mentioned, big one for you here. Reason why I put these on the slide just so that you guys can see them larger than when we get into the dashboard. But Insights is going to be awesome for you guys when you have it up and running and you're verified. Then all these features will be turned on and they'll be fully functional for you as a Google My Business owner. Your insights is going to increase your customer base because they're going to tell you who's searching for you. And as you can see there on the right under the queries, what words are they searching for when they find you? And you can adjust that in the last month, change your date ranges so you can get an idea of in the last 6 months and so on. But once your account's verified, you'll be able to see that and give you a ton of information and learn more about your customer or people who are searching for you. Lastly, reviews are huge. As I mentioned, customer testimonials are amongst the oldest and most proven marketing tools. So we're always asking for reviews, asking people to share their content, share their experiences. Word of mouth is a huge, important part of our business. Asking for referrals. If you've got a review, you can respond to those reviews, and I highly recommend that. And we'll show you when we're in there as well why you need to respond to your reviews. But when you're asking clients, or you're asking customers for referrals, you can share your review link in your email, in an email signature. Take a moment to review your experience with us on Google. You can drop the URL and hyperlink that. That should be part of your email auto signature anyways. If you haven't already done that, always be asking for a review at all your touch points so that people can take the time and to share those reviews. And then they can learn more about you. So that's what I got for you here. Let me change the screen over to second screen, and we will get into a little bit of a live environment and go over those slides that I just showed you. All right, cool. There we go. So as I mentioned, they're going to ask you to search for your business. Of course, you want to spell it correctly. Now, we're going to see what shows up when I perform a simple search for West USA Realty and hit enter. What's the name of your business? So business name, Keith Flynn - West USA Realty. I simply hit next. Choose the category that best fits your business, your practice. As I showed you guys in the slides there, we're going to go, this is real quick. So this is what's really nice about using their service. Real estate agent. We're going to select and hit next. From there, what do you want to add, or do you want to add a location for the visit? No, I do not. So you guys are going to go ahead and hit no on that because we're not actually physically going to a location. Now, as I mentioned, you guys can either do zip codes or you can go through and do the whole cities. So however you want to approach it, completely up to you. But you can go through and individually crank those in, or we could just use the actual city, and that will pick us up all through Phoenix area. Glendale, whoop. Of course, make sure you choose Glendale, Arizona, and not Glendale, California, and go on, and so on, and so on, and so on. So I'm not going to go through in all of them since there are a lot of cities, but for the sake of this training, we'll move forward to the next step, which is then contact. What contact details do you want to add with your customers? So naturally, we're going to add our phone number. And from there, your current web address. So if you guys have a free site through West USA, or you've purchased a domain name and you're redirecting it to point at your free site, whatever that looks like for you, you're going to go ahead and put your information in there. If you can type correctly. Oh boy, I'm just all thumbs today. All right, so westusa.com. And you either have a choice of I don't need a website, get a free website based on your info. Google will sell you a domain name and get you a free landing page, or not a free landing page, but they have the service built into the back end of their Google My Business. So could be an option for you. More details on that, you can look and get a free website based on the info. They'll create this very minimalistic landing page. Don't know if that's going to be something that you want to go down that rabbit hole, but if you do, at least it gives you something for now if you haven't decided on which way you want to go with actually having a website, if at all. Finish and manage your listing. So we're done at that part. That's it. That's how really quick it is when you get into creating the listing. A lot of the legwork is going to come in with your verification email address and sending that to you to your home. So I'm going to use my home address here. Please nobody show up my door. Thank you. And hit next. Oh yeah, let's choose a state. We're definitely in Arizona. and we'll hit next. So that's where the postcard's going to go. Now, it takes about 5 days for it to arrive. Once it does, there's a verification code on there, and then you're able to come back into your listing, verify your address, and once you're verified, now you're discoverable. You are if someone performs a search for you, they're able to find you. So if anybody has created an account, but then you go search for yourself and it's not showing up, then that's probably because you haven't been verified yet. So you still need to complete that step. So you can also do verification later, which I'm going to do now because this is just for training purposes. So I'm not going to actually send a postcard and list my physical or list myself as an agent, since full disclosure, I'm not an agent. From there, adding services. So select services for your business that you provide. Now, this is where you can get into, appraisals, or if you want to create custom ones like new build, a lot of those buzzwords that are going to be for relevant to you as an agent, and then hit save. You can add those lists of services in there. And of course, I hit next because I didn't want to sit there and make up a bunch of them. So if adding those in there is important to you, be sure to hit probate and refi or reflipping homes or whatever the case may be. Now, your hours of operation, pretty simple question and straightforward. I'm sure if you're a go-getter agent, you're working 7 days a week. So I know we all like to celebrate the weekends for us normal corporate folk, but you guys, God bless you, are always all out and about. So, we want to open those all up. And once you do, you can choose hours of operations as well. Now, I'll show you where you can go edit that contact information, or where you can add or edit that in the dashboard when we get to that next step. So I'm gonna hit skip. Adding and messaging, let customers message your business on Google for free. Yeah, absolutely. We want to hit save and accept messages. Basically, they send you a message to your listing, and then Google will then forward that on either via an email or a text message, which is really cool. Adding a description, you can add up to 170 words. If you don't put you on the spot right now, I know writing a bio or creating a description about your business from scratch is usually tough for most folks, and that's fine. We will show you, I can show you where you'll go to put that after, or if you have something that you would like to add later, and go from there. I'm gonna hit skip. It's gonna get us into that dashboard right now. Now, my account, or this account, is gonna be tied to our West USA business. So we'll jump in here. You're probably gonna see a lot of listings. Great question, Cindy. Can you add two office locations? Once you create your first one, then you can create a second location or a second listing within that one. And I'm gonna show you a little sneak peek here. Boop, there you go. Those are my sound effects, by the way. When it comes to your business account, we have multiple locations all here. So what'll happen is you'll have one, and then you'll add a second location if you do work out of two offices, or you're maybe someone who moonlights up in the northern part of Arizona a couple days a week, comes back down, whatever the case may be. Yes, you can add multiple locations to your business, as we've done here, as you would see with restaurants and so on. So easy to do. Adding photos to your business, huge, important. You guys know and understand the importance of first impressions. Adding photography, any high-res images. If you haven't done so, I highly recommend go into an open house or a beautifully staged new build. Take a camera, take your cell phone with a nice camera in it, take a tripod. If you've got a friend who's hanging out, wants to go with you, or a family member, business partner, you guys can go in. Those new builds are beautifully decorated, and you guys get dressed up like a professional agent and take some branding photos. When you take those branding photos, you give the impression that you're that you're in a setting that's staged and looks good. They don't know that's not a house that you haven't listed, but that's you out in the workforce, or out working and doing what you do. Take those branding shots and then use those for your listing here. Come back into your business, drop in a couple shots. Maybe it's a close up of you, shaking hands with a potential customer, or at signing. Use those photos to create your listing. As I mentioned at the beginning of the webinar, a lot of retail, a lot of restaurants, a lot of other places, nightlife, shopping that we visit, get those photos from their customers. So our industry is a little unique. We're not having customers meet with us and they take photos and then they go to our Google business page and upload them like they would if you were at a restaurant. You see a lot of food shots. So you guys are going to have to take control of that and optimize your own account. And that's why I point this out to you here. So adding a photo, and then here's examples: exterior. So maybe this is a neighborhood that you are, very familiar with, or you're known to be the agent in that area. That's an establishing shot for the community. Then you get some other examples of like, you actually doing the job. Uploading a photo is simple and easy, very intuitive. Selecting a photo from your computer. I'm going to grab a screen grab from one of my past webinars, upload that, and then there we go, personal branding, and I'm going to hit next. So really easy to use, really fun to do. Advertising is an option. Not going to get into Google Ads right now since it is very entailed, but if you want to run ads, you can do that. Give yourself a little exposure. If you guys have ever done a Google search, you'll see there's that little ad icon here. That means it's an ad. That means currently the business is spending money to get positioning or show up on that first search result based on the keyword terms. So I'm going to skip that now because I'm not going to advertise. Your business profile is almost ready to go. We're going to hit continue here, and it should take us into, voila, the final dashboard there. So from here, if we have two locations, will both show up on Google? Yes, Susan, great question. If we have multiple locations, and if someone performs a search, just like if I were to type in Chick-fil-A or Burger King, typically the map is going to show us the nearest locations to where we're geographically positioned. If you guys ever see that pop-up that sometimes shows like, would you like to give access or allow Google to know your location? That's because they want to give you a better search result based on where you're physically at. And so I'm going to see the Chick-fil-A's or the restaurants or locations that are nearest me as opposed to a 30,000 foot view of the map and showing me locations that are in Apache Junction. They know that typically I'm not headed that way, but if I scroll through the map, I'll see more locations if I want to head east or go from there. So yes, so multiple location should be showing up. Now, when it comes to your dashboard, here you've got all your very minimalistic navigation. As I showed you guys on the slide earlier, on the left-hand side here, you can break down all of your dashboard in the categories. So posts, info. Info is a big one. If you guys already have a listing and maybe you're here today because you want to make some edits, this is where it's going to be. Now, at any time, if you guys want to get to your business account, simple thing to do is once you're logged into your browser, whether Chrome or Firefox, you're logged into your Google Gmail account, or in general you're using the same browser as you would for your Google. In the upper right hand corner, these little tiles here, these 9 little tiles, those are your Google apps. Now, as I mentioned, Google has a plethora of different offerings, from YouTube to searching, Gmail and contacts and so on. You're going to look for My Business. If you ever want to get back to your business listing, go to My Business. That'll take you right in to your panel here. As you can know, we manage multiple locations, so those are all there for us, and then we click into it to manage that specific location. So that'll get you to your dashboard. If you have one location, it's going to take you right into what you see here. Your info, can always change, whether you have a new address, whether you have a new website, you move to a new brokerage, there's a name change. This is where you're going to perform all those edits. Pretty easy to use, really intuitive. The pencil, obviously an identifying icon for making edits. So anytime you see that pencil, you can click on it and make a change to your account. Now, when you make some significant changes like the name of the business or change the address or service areas, service area, not so much. But if you change the name, some of the more pertinent contact information, we're going to need to re-verify. So just be mindful of that. If you're going to make those changes, make sure it's legit and it's going to be permanent, because you're going to need to verify again. And when you do go back into a verification status, it will remove your current listing from being visible on Google. Not a big thing, not something that people do all the time, but just know that when you make those edits, you can do that. No location, deliveries and home service only. Your service areas are here. So if you guys need to add more service areas in, or you want to remove or add them in, this is where you'll go and add more service areas. So I know you guys would probably take some time on that one alone because there's a lot of areas of service in Arizona. Your hours of operation, your phone number, your web address, all intuitive here, very easy to use. As we mentioned, we don't have products. Your services, what you offer as an agent, you can go through and then start to add in, add another business category if you wanted to add another one. Maybe you're doing, rentals, whatever the case may be. That's where you can add in some additional categories. Since I know a lot of agents like to be very diversified in their efforts when they are an agent. Let's go back to info again. So as we scroll through our info information, you add your business description here. If you want to add the date you became an agent, you can add in the opening date, or traditional would be the opening of a store, and then photos. You'll notice as you go through the navigation on the left-hand side, there's a lot of places that you can go to access certain components to your listing. Insights. Now, there's not going to be any insights right now for me since I just created this. So I'm going to hop onto the other tab and show you the insights for West USA Realty specifically when it comes to looking at your insights. There's actually something there to show you basically what I'm getting to. So in the last month, you can see they've got this great little chart here that breaks down people who found your business through performing a search, either by name or the address. Discovered. This is, as we highlight over this, people who find your business profile searching for category, product, or service. So we're looking for a brokerage or real estate. And then branded, customers who found your listing search for a brand related to your business. And so it's neat how they break that down and give you some details about who's searching for you and how they're finding you. When customers view your business on Google, the Google services that customers use and define your business, listing on a search, listing on a map. So some people search via maps because they're trying to find our location. A lot of folks do that. Maybe if you're meeting with your client at the branch location, or they're searching for the actual name and showing it results there. Customer action. What do they do when they search for you? Did they go to your website? Did they request directions, or did they call you? So this is really cool. You can see what are people doing when they're finding your business listing. And again, as I mentioned, this information, these details, these insights may not be important to you, but they're good to have because it's important to know that you're showing up in search results. And if someone found you that way, or you're asking, hey, how'd you find me? How'd you learn about me? Those are great questions to ask because at least when you're coming back and putting in and optimizing your listing that, it's bearing fruit. And that's important, especially since this is one of the most searched search engines out there today. Reviews, big one for you guys here. Your reviews, and I'm going to be the first one to admit this, I'm going to tell you guys, you certainly should go and respond to your reviews. I have a little homework to do, so I can click on I haven't replied yet, but I'm definitely going to need to do that because it's good to review and go back and thank your past customers for coming to your page and giving feedback and saying thank you. And a simple thank you would be, hey, thank you so much for working with me. It was a pleasure working with you. Happy to help you as your first time home buyer. Awesome that we were able to get you qualified. Whatever the case may be, take the time to respond. When you do Facebook, when you do respond, Google notices that. It actually is another key performance indicator when it comes to optimizing. When I say optimizing your Google listings, is if you're responding, whether good or bad, your Google is seeing that you're responding, and that shows that you're an active business owner for your listing, and it's going to help you show up in more search results. Dormant business pages don't do the business owner any good. So whether a bad review or a good review, certainly a bad review, you should be jumping in there and addressing any negativity. The simple 3-step process to responding to a negative review is really simple. And all that is obviously, first off, getting in there, well, really honestly, taking a deep breath at the beginning, right? I know we've had some negative reviews in the past. Maybe they were misguided. They went to the wrong person. They were meant for commercial real estate or they were meant for property management. But we review and respond to all, especially our negative ones. But take a deep breath. Don't get yourself all upset and worked up when you respond. The first reaction is not to react. We've had some personal attacks. We've had, just some actual negative reviews. And second, what you want to do is leave a timely response. If you wait too long to respond, then especially for a negative review, it may be too late to change their mind. It may be too late to change the customer's opinion of your business. So aim to respond to a negative review within at least 24 hours. Get in there. There's an acronym that I like called HEAT. It's hear, empathize, apologize, take action. And acknowledge the complaint, apologize. I understand how that may have upset you. Certainly apologize that you had that negative experience. What we'd like to do, and number 3 here, is take the conversation offline. Take advantage of, call me directly, or please, our broker would like to speak with you about this. How can we rectify the situation? But by taking the customer offline, you don't have this back and forth that's going to, could turn ugly, and then now everybody's in your laundry, right? We want people to know that, hey, look, he responded. They obviously care about the negative review. It looks like they generally would like to rectify the situation, and they provided an email address or phone number for the customer to, come offline and then contact us directly. In some situations, you might get reviews that seem like, they didn't actually come from your customer, and so we don't want to encourage big businesses. We don't want to encourage them to ask their agents or ask their employees to do reviews. But in our case, it's a unique situation because our agents are our customers. And so we certainly welcome in that respect when it comes to not only agents, but our consumers at West USA. So that's my spiel about reviews and obviously responding to them. Certainly important to do so. It'll obviously show that you're an agent who cares, and that's important. Messaging, turn on messaging. This allows your customer to contact you through the use of Google. I've turned on my messaging here. Customers will be able to message my business soon. Of course, once we're verified and up and running, then they can do so. Now, photos is a fun one, and I'm going to get back into this. I know we went a couple different areas. When it comes to photos and as a business manager or as the business and managing your listing here, you can upload a lot of different photos, which is really awesome. And you can categorize or filter them by owner, which your customer can as well. And so we've uploaded photos, exterior shots. We recently just remodeled and did the facade on the front of our corporate office, which is also our North Valley branch location. And so we wanted the building to be more prominent from the street. We did have some folks who couldn't find us, but now this has really helped alleviate that issue. And by doing so, we want to update our photos and keep things fresh. Now, go take a shot in front of your branch location, whether you're in Arrowhead, Mesa, get a nice shot of you in front of the West USA office. Use that as a cover photo for your listing. And then from there, add in additional photos by the use of your business listing. And whether you're at a lunch meeting with a client, you've got a home office, whatever the case may be, take advantage of that. And when I say optimize your listing, that's you actually putting photos in, whether they're interior or exterior. You can see how these categories could be relevant for some other businesses, other types of businesses. But if you've got a team or you're working with a vendor, you've buddied with the vendor, you've been working with them for a number of years, take some team photos. Remember, when it comes to personal branding, a lot of who you work with and the vendors that you work with will define your brand. And so as you can see here, we've got some great team shots where the Recon group uploaded a photo. They were doing some charity work. I think they were making lunch for a nonprofit. So, for us from a brokerage standpoint, the photos are going to be a little different context. There's, a class that we had. Oh, who doesn't miss these days? I miss getting in a big room with a bunch of people and having immediate feedback and talking about fun stuff and laughing. But I feel like we'll be there soon again. But okay, so enough with the photos. You guys understand here when it comes to your photos, this is what I mean by going in and adding in photos to your listing. Load some shots in there so that you guys have a really neat profile when it comes to building out your listing. Because remember, your customers are going to find you and they're going to see those and they're going to see you out doing your thing. Posts, last one here for you guys. Approach this very similar to like Facebook or Instagram. Not every day again. You don't need to be posting every day, but what you can do is get into your post and some simple things like adding an update. And of course, they have awesome ideas for samples on updates. And so you can see here, they're going to give me updates based on real estate because I've chosen that category. So events, high-rise open house this weekend. So you can crank in a photo of the exterior of the home. You can add in some description here, which is really neat. Of course, if you're looking for some content, who doesn't love the occasional dog photo, right? We all love engaging with those. But you can get an idea of some of the things that you can post when it comes to posting an update for your business. Clicking on the photo, uploading your photo from whether your albums or from your the scrapbook here, and we'll choose one of these exterior shots. Here we go. All right, upload photo video. So here's a creating a post. I've uploaded a photo. You certainly would do this for your listings, get a little extra exposure and showcase your expertise. Write your post. And so if you have any questions about that, clicking on that little tooltip right here, the I, that'll take you to Google's recommendations on creating a post on Google. And what kind of content is going to be relevant, how it's going to work for you. But write your post in there. Open house this weekend. Beautiful North Scottsdale neighborhood. Whatever you want to add in there, create some emotive description that get people excited about your update, and then you can add a call to action button. So learn more, sign up, call now, learn more. Learn more is popular. That's going to drop in a link for you there, and you can link this to another, maybe a more in-depth post to your social media, to a Instagram post, or to your website. If you've got this as a feature property, you can do that and then publish it, and then that lives in your when people do a search result for you. Your content will show up as a post would for Facebook, which is really neat. Let me back out here. Event. This is a fun one. So highly recommend this one for open houses, whether virtual or you're going to do a in-person open house. Again, really easy to do. Upload a photo of the home. Add the title. So maybe North Valley, quiet neighborhood, or if you want to put the street address, up to you. The date for your event, so date when it starts and ends, and then adding additional information here. You can add some more details, and then of course here's the cool one with the link. Learn more. You can drop a link into, let's say you're going to use Zoom or a Facebook Live event in order to do your virtual. Then this is where they can go to sign up or be reminded that you're going to have that event coming up. And then the last one, add products and an offer. These two really aren't relevant unless you're selling a physical product or good, so you can ignore those. But they've got some great ideas for creating posts and reaching more customers. You can jump in there and take a look at that as well. So if you guys got any questions, fire them over there. It's not too complicated to use, really neat to use. There's some additional options down here for you guys, creating an ad, getting more customers if you wanted to advertise on Google. Rather expensive. Remember, you're dealing with some large budgets out there. So I really don't often suggest running ads for agents, independent contractors on Google, unless you've got some serious ad dollars or you got a little bit in the coffer from your team or whatever. If you want to add a new business, I know it was a great question that Cindy had earlier. Adding a new business, you add a second location, boom, process all over again. Nothing out of the ordinary. If you need to add a second location, you can do so by just going through the menu bar here and adding a new business. Some additional stuff where you can create a website and some other support issues or support items that they have for you there as well. So for the most part, that's it. There's not a lot to it. Really, the big thing is just making sure all your info is dialed in. If you make sure all your components are good to go, and then of course you're verified. You need to make sure that you're verified and that your information is correct. Once you do, make sure you send that postcard to yourself so you can verify your listing. Once again you're verified, you are now discoverable on Google. You will show up And from there, just start working it. Drop in a post, set yourself a reminder, calendar alert on your, if you're doing an editorial calendar, if you've got one good piece of content, photo, whatever the case may be, drop it in there once a month. Keep your optimizing your listing. Google likes that, certainly for you guys as a business owner. Make sure you're asking for your reviews. You can simply search for your listing once you are verified and then hit that review tab or write a review. Let's see here. Let's go. I'm definitely hungry because I'm thinking about burgers. So another example here. I'm going to go to maps real quick. You guys, really easy to do when it comes to writing a review. Whatever location or when you find your location, scrolling through here and then, there we go, write a review. So when you find your location, it's now listed and shows up. Click on write a review, and then you can grab that URL at the very top. It's very ugly. You can shorten it, but with a URL shortener, or just hyperlink it in your email signature. And anytime someone you ask for a review, they'll be directly directed to this page here, which is really cool. Now, once you get those reviews, guys, one of the fun things that you can do is, let's say you find a review. Let's say Bruce, okay, Bruce did 5 stars for this particular review. I'm going to do, let's see if this is going to take me to Bruce's account. Yeah, we want to do that. I'm going to go to and take a screen grab of this. So however you like to use your screen grabs, you can do a little screen grab of your particular, let me show you guys here, of your particular listing or your particular review, and I can screen grab that, and now I can go create new content. If you're using Canva, fun one to do is I've done this before in the Canva class, and trust me, if you haven't already done so, be sure to jump in there. I've taken and repurposed a review. Let's get out of here real quick. I've repurposed a review before, and took a line or two from the review, and then jazzed it up with some 5 stars. Put a little color scheme on it, branded it, and then I've taken this and then reposted it on my Facebook, my Instagram, wherever you want to put it. Use it as social media content. You're not fabricating it. It's actually a review. You're just taking it from your Google reviews or Realtor.com or Zillow, and then repurposing it. And then in that description, just do a little hat tip like, hey, shout out to Kevin. Thanks so much for the review. It was a pleasure working with him. The first-time home buyer, or he was a renter who didn't think he can qualify. Give a little context to it on how you solved the problem, and then it's a humble brag, a little toot your horn there, and of course make sure your contact information is in there as well. So keep an eye on those reviews and encourage people to do those reviews so that you can repurpose that as content. And the next time you need to do a quick cross post, you can see that. So Cindy asked again to confirm, if you enter a second location, you need to add context to that location as well. Correct. So in this case, if you've got multiple locations, but the content is duplicated, not going to be an issue. You're just adding a second location, but of course, make sure that you're going to need to verify that one as well. So that location now becomes a discoverable listing as well. So much like I showed you guys on our business account here. Where'd I go? All right. 1 second here. I'll show you here. So we've got some duplicate locations. That's one of the fun parts of my job, is making sure to counter those duplicates, because we have agents who try to reclaim our location. But yeah, so this is how to appear. And you can number your locations 1, 2, 3, store locations is why that exists. But you would then see multiple locations here in your business manager and allow you to go through and manage those and make any edits, add a photo. Here's your quick tabs. I want to add a photo real quick to this location, cover photo. Of course, with all our branch locations, they're all different. So we encourage our branch managers and our agents to send in photos, and then we update those the best of our ability. So that's good to go for you there. All right, next Thursday, what are we doing? What is next Thursday, guys? If you ever have any questions about our calendar, you can always go to westusacalendar.com. Has all of our classes, not only mine, but everything that's happening relevant to real estate and our brokerage. Next Thursday, we're going to be doing Instagram, real estate or Instagram intermediate guys. Okay, this is gonna be a good one. We're gonna talk about stories. We're gonna be talking about reels. We're gonna talk about guides. All that other cool stuff that Instagram offers that everyone's probably terrified to use. We're going to get into the intermediate. So, of course, having an Instagram account already, having it built out, a relatively decent understanding of how to use the app. I'll jump more into the algorithm, talking about how to make some cool stories and why we do that. Because of all the other things that we have to focus on as being an agent, right? Jessica, good question here. Where do we get the photos of the exterior of the office? So, personally, if you can, I recommend getting going and taking the photos yourself. Now, here's what's crazy about the world of digital advertising: the AI, the artificial intelligence, the software that they use can detect original content down to the photo. Behind this photo is is metadata, uh, things like time, date stamped, when the photo was taken, where geographically the photo was taken. One of the crazy things about our phones is when we take photos, there's a little bit of metadata that's added to that photo that tells us where your phone was located when it took the phone. And so that data, that metadata, that digital coding behind the image can be read by Google. And so if I were to right click or steal this photo or repurpose this photo, not only on Google, but on Facebook, they can detect that technically that's not original content because it already exists on the internet and has been posted by somebody else. So if you can, do your very best to go take your own photos, especially if you can get in the photo tripod, set it up, go from there. Now, of course, it's not a huge deal. So you can go to any one of the branch locations and snag the exterior shot from the site if you absolutely want to. But like everything, I encourage you guys to create your own content because you will be rewarded in that respect. Your content will be more organically shared on social media when it's been taken by you and it doesn't live anywhere else on the internet. Believe it or not, Facebook actually has a very powerful search engine. They crawl the internet every day, multiple times a day, and index all photos. And so they archive existing photos before most major search engines. And the reason why they do that is because they reward people for original content. And so if you're like just right click and saving someone's photo that they took and that lived on their website, then you'll get dinged for that, which is crazy. But that's the world we live in. So will you be able to be replayed? Yes. Thank you for Kelly for still joining, even though you come in late. If you guys visit us at our YouTube channel, which is really awesome, go to youtube.com and you can simply do a search for West USA Realty. When that pops up, you will see our channel right there for you, West USA Realty. Click on that. Not only this particular class, but not only this particular class, but all of our webinars here at West USA are recorded, market stats, Monday morning webinars with the fellas, the brokerage. My classes are all here under social media webinars with Keith Flynn. I have a couple to load up from last week, but you can find any number of topics there that I've covered in the past. We do repeat these once every few months because there's always changing, but you can find any of those there for you. And this recording will be up later this afternoon, and we'll cross post that to our social media. So that's about it. I think I'm good. You guys had some great questions, great interaction today, guys. Really enjoyed having you on. Of course, if you have any questions after the fact, you can always email me. I'm Keith, that's Keith, at westusa.com. Happy to jump on a call with you, help you out with anything specific about your real estate marketing needs. Like always, have a great day. Be safe, be kind to one another, and we will see you guys next week. Thanks so much.